How's it going, boys? Johnny Superb Man here, and we're on the eve of the NHL Playoffs. I can't wait. Finally, we get to see some intense hockey games. I'm going to do my predictions video tomorrow, but I want to see what NHL 15 thinks of the NHL Playoffs this year. I've gone ahead and I've set it up. In the West, you got Anaheim versus Winnipeg, Vancouver versus Calgary, St. Louis versus Minnesota, and Nashville versus Chicago. And in the Eastern Conference, the New York Rangers versus Pittsburgh, Washington versus the Islanders, the Montreal Canadiens versus the Ottawa Senators, and the Tampa Bay Lightning versus the Detroit Red Wings. All right, so gone ahead, we set it up. We're going to follow two teams here, the Anaheim Ducks and the Ottawa Senators. I can actually control them all, but for the reason of this simulation, I'm not going to touch any line changes. I'm not going to make any coaching decisions. Also, injuries are off, so there's a lot of variables here that are not going to be realistic, but whatever, right? It's even for every single team. And we also have my updated rosters with this, not EA Sports' rosters, all right? So let's go 1 month at a time here. Not 1 month at a time, one round at a time, all right? So we'll go Ottawa and Anaheim, and it looks like, oh man, that's kind of my fantasy final there, Ottawa versus Anaheim rematch from 2007, right? But I don't know if it's going to happen. Hang on a second here. Anaheim and Ottawa, all right. Game number 2 for Anaheim. I mean, Ottawa. Oh, lost it. Let's see. Anaheim. Ooh, Anaheim and Ottawa are both down 0-2 in the series. It's not good. Next one. Anaheim comes back. Very good. Ottawa comes back. Both 2-1. Come on now. 2-2 for Ottawa. Oh, 3-1 for Winnipeg over Anaheim. I really think that Anaheim's going to get by Winnipeg, but you never know. That Canadian team, you know, that place is going to be rocking as well, right? So, last game for the Anaheim Ducks, maybe. Let's see. Whoa, Winnipeg beats Anaheim in 5 games. Oh my god. And the Winnipeg Jets are moving off to the second round. So I picked the Anaheim Ducks. Didn't go too well. All right. And the Ottawa Senators are trailing 3-2 to the Montreal Canadiens. Let's see. They lose it in 6. So, man, I chose 2 teams, and both those 2 teams are out. Good god. That's not a good prediction right there. So let's simulate ahead here. Let's simulate ahead. Don't worry, we'll do the real-time simulation once it gets closer to the finals here. So the Ottawa Senators, Vancouver Canucks. So the Vancouver Canucks got through. So let's see. Stats Central, playoff tree. So your Elite 8, Vancouver versus Winnipeg. Wow, so Winnipeg beats Anaheim. Vancouver beats Calgary. Nashville beats Chicago. Actually, let me just see this. Yeah, so Vancouver beat Calgary in 5 games. Winnipeg beat Anaheim in 5 games. Holy crap. Minnesota beats St. Louis in 7 games. That was a hell of a series. And Nashville beat Chicago in 7 games, all right? So the two Canadian teams get through pretty much unscathed. And the top teams in the Central Division, they beat the crap out of each other. So that works out well for the two Canadian teams. And in the Eastern Conference, the Rangers beat Pittsburgh in 5 games. That makes sense. The Islanders beat Washington in 7 games. I could see that. Montreal beat Ottawa in 6 games. Yeah, that makes sense. And Detroit beat Tampa in 5 games. Ooh, that's rough for Tampa Bay. That's what, 1-8 in the last 2 years for Tampa. They got swept by Montreal last year, and now they got beat by Detroit in 5 games. Ooh, that's a rough back-to-back year playoff run for the Tampa Bay Lightning, right? But whatever. So your Elite 8, Vancouver versus Winnipeg, Nashville versus Minnesota, the Rangers versus the Islanders, an all-New York series. Oh, that's a deadly rivalry right there. And Montreal versus Detroit. So we got 3 Canadian teams in the Elite 8. Very nice. So out of these, I think I'll follow the Islanders, and I got to go with Winnipeg, man. After beating Anaheim that hard, man, I got to follow Winnipeg. So hang on a second. Islanders and Winnipeg. Let me find them. Winnipeg. When is Winnipeg? Winnipeg, there you go. And the Islanders, are they far away from them? They kind of are. So you know what? We'll just follow the Winnipeg Jets right now. Yeah, we'll just follow the Winnipeg Jets. So where's Winnipeg? Their first game against the Vancouver Canucks. Let's see what happens here. Oh, they lose game 1. Man, I should start picking the teams I don't want to win. Oh my god, game 2, down 2-0 are the Winnipeg Jets. Oh, down 3-0 to the Vancouver Canucks. The experience. The Canucks still have some playoff players on their team, and they're smoking the Winnipeg Jets 3-0. Will Winnipeg come back? No! And the Vancouver Canucks sweep the Winnipeg Jets in 4 games, off to the Western Conference Finals. Oh, a new rivalry in Canada just formed. All right, let's follow the Islanders here. The Islanders are down 3-1 against the New York Rangers. I gotta stop picking these teams, and they lose in 5 games to the Rangers. The Rangers are moving on. Let's see other teams. Montreal versus Detroit. Montreal has a... Oh, man. Montreal was up 3-0. Detroit's come back and won 2. So it's 3-2 in the series right now. Montreal, let's see if Carey Price can shut the door. Oh, oh no, sorry, right. Montreal was down 3-0. They came back twice, and then they lost. So Detroit beat the Montreal Canadiens. So Carey Price doesn't get that Conn Smythe to ice off an amazing season. All right, any other teams? No, Detroit versus New York. So we got our Final Four. It's an interesting one this year, isn't it, boys? The Vancouver Canucks versus the Minnesota Wild. Vancouver swept Winnipeg in the conference semifinals, and the Minnesota Wild beat the Nashville Predators in 5 games. So the Western Conference Final this year says it's going to be the Vancouver Canucks versus the Minnesota Wild. I could see the Minnesota Wild getting there the way they've been playing. Vancouver, that's an interesting one, all right? But NHL 15 says it's going to be like this. And the Eastern Conference, it looks like the Rangers beat the Islanders in 5 games, and Detroit beat Montreal in 6 games. The Montreal Canadian fans are not going to like that, all right? So in the East, you have 2 original 6 teams, and in the West, you got Minnesota and the 1 Canadian team that remains, the Vancouver Canucks. So all of Canada's hopes are in the laps of the Canucks. Hopefully there's no riots again. All right, so I'll follow, you know what? I'll follow the Canucks. Let's see. You know, we can follow both teams here. Yeah, we can follow both teams. Let's see. If I go this way, go that way. Damn it. It still cycles through all the teams here. Yeah, there it is. All right, so both games are on the same day, so let's go one at a time here. All right, so looks like Detroit won the first game and Vancouver won their first game. All right. No, sorry, Vancouver lost that first game. Vancouver, so 1-1 in the Western Conference Series. So hard to follow all this with all the teams. And the New York Rangers are up 2-0. So 1-1 in the West, the Rangers are up 2-0. Let's keep going here. Detroit's made it 2-1. And in the West, it is 2-1 for the Vancouver Canucks. All right, Vancouver 2-2 in the West. The Western Conference is shaping up, and 2-2 in the East. All right, so at least we have some competition here. It's coming down to the nitty-gritty. The Final Four, both have to be settled in the remaining 3 games. All right, 2-2 apiece. So let's go here. All right, so the Detroit Red Wings versus the New York Rangers. Let's see who takes it. Detroit goes up 3-2. Hang on a second here. And Minnesota goes up 3-2. So the Minnesota Wild have a chance to win. Let's see. We got to go real-time simulation to get into the Stanley Cup Finals here. Can the Minnesota Wild get to the Stanley Cup Finals for the first time in franchise history? First period. Oh, goal by Nino Niederreiter on Eddie Lack. Second period. Oh, Zach Cassian gets one, but Thomas Vanek. Third period. Oh, Vancouver ties it up. Derek Dorsett with 5:28 remaining. What's going to happen to overtime, boys? One button. That's it. And, oh, Vancouver. Bo Horvat comes back. And the Vancouver Canucks are not going quietly into that night, boys. Bo Horvat with a slap shot from the point to make it go to a Game 7. Oh, yeah, that's going to be a good one. All right, so Game 7 between the Minnesota Wild and Vancouver in the conference finals. And also, we have the New York Rangers, who are trailing the Detroit Red Wings 3-2. Detroit can go off to the Stanley Cup Finals. Again, Babcock's going to re-sign. First period, oh, 1-1, Tatar and Brassard. Second period, oh, 4 goals. 3 goals by the Rangers, 2 goals by Detroit's. Is that going to be enough to push a Game 7? Oh, Detroit ties it up. Stephen Weiss, 1906. What's going to happen? Overtime. Oh, the Rangers get a goal. Captain Keith Yandel. Oh, leave it up to Captain Keith to get it done in the playoffs, boys. We all know that. So both the conference finals have to go to a Game 7. Ooh, that's good. Both teams are going to be dead tired coming in. All right, so first we'll do the Detroit game. All right, it's in Detroit. Detroit's got, I don't know why. No, it's in the New York. Yeah, I was going to say, Detroit shouldn't have home ice advantage. All right, so let's see what happens here. First period, 0-0. All right. Second period, all right, Derek Stepan. 1 more period to go, and the Rangers could make it back to the Stanley Cup Finals 2 years in a row. Will it be enough, or will Detroit step up? Power play goes to shit. Detroit has got 5 minutes left to tie up the game, and they can't do it. Kreider gets the empty netter, and the New York Rangers are off to the Stanley Cup Finals. 2 years in a row. This could be their year, boys. Detroit Red Wings, what a run. Just couldn't get it done. They had 2 chances to beat the Rangers. They couldn't get it done. And now we swing back over to the Western Conference, where we have the Vancouver Canucks versus the Minnesota Wild in Vancouver. All right, that's what you got from the regular season, Vancouver. That home ice advantage. Will it work out for you? All right, first period. Come on. Let's see what happens here. Actually, no, we'll do, yeah, real-time simulation. Bergenheim gets one quick one. First period. All right, woo, Howland, Bergenheim. The Minnesota Wild have taken a 2-0 lead. Vancouver, only 6 shots on home ice advantage. It's like Boston all over again. It's not good. Second period. Oh, they got 2, but so did Minnesota. They got a 2-goal lead going into the third period. Will Vancouver be able to mount some sort of a comeback? Or is it going to be the Rangers versus Minnesota? Oh, man, a 3-goal lead in the third period. I think that's all she wrote. I think that's it. Zach Parise showing that he is worth that salary, that cap hit. He comes through big time. And the Minnesota Wild, at one point during the regular season, everyone thinking that they were done. Mike Yeo was going to be fired. And then the trade for Devan Dubnyk. They go on an improbable run, and now they're going to the Stanley Cup Finals. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! All right, so let's see here. The New York Rangers versus the Minnesota Wild. I think that's a pretty... I don't want to say realistic, but I could see it happening. Minnesota Wild versus the New York Rangers, absolutely. That could be a Stanley Cup final this year. All right, so let's see who's going to take it. One game at a time, all right? We'll go through it each game by game. First period, game 1 in Madison Square Garden. Oh, 0-0. All right. Ooh, 15 shots to 4. That's not good for the Rangers. Second period. Ooh, goaltenders are playing pretty good. I wonder if Lundqvist is back. Remember, I'm not editing the line, so it might still just be Talbot in the net. Third period. Ooh, 1-1. It is Talbot. It's Dubnyk versus Talbot. Oh, my God. Who's going to take in overtime? Oh, the Rangers and Kevin Hayes, the breakout player for the Rangers this year. Kevin Hayes gets the biggest goal of his NHL career in overtime to take game 1 for the New York Rangers. All right, blue, white, and red, white, and blue. I'm not American. I'll mess that up. You guys have gotten a nice lead right now. Let's switch over to the New York Rangers. There you go. Let's see what you can do with it. Second game, home ice. First period. Ooh, Howland, Vanek. They got a 2-0 lead. Second period. Oh, will the Rangers be able to answer back? And in the third, no, they can only get 1. Hayes again, but the Minnesota Wild get 4. 1-1 series tie in the Stanley Cup Finals. Yeah, this is going to be a good series here, boys. I would like to bring back Lundqvist, I know that, but it was equal for all teams, all right? The roster changes, whatever the rosters were coming into this, they stayed, so whatever. First period of Game 3 in Minnesota, the Rangers take a 2-1 lead. There you go, Rick Nash, Derek Stepan, and Pomin P. Second period, oh, the Rangers, Nash steps up big time with Kreider. Third period, no, too much of a comeback there for the Minnesota Wild, and the New York Rangers take a 2-1 series lead, Stanley Cup Finals, so they're in a much better position than they were against the LA Kings last year. They were trailing the entire time. This time they went up 1-0, then they was tied 1-1, now they've gone up 2-1, right? They got the lead. You got to take a stranglehold of this series now, the Rangers. Don't let them keep fighting back into it. First period, there you go. Rick Nash, he's stepping up big time for the Rangers in the finals this year. Second period, all right. Will Talbot be able to shut the door with the routine in place? Third period, yes he does. He earns a shutout in the Stanley Cup Finals. And the New York Rangers, boys, have gone up 3-1 without Henrik Lundqvist. Cam Talbot comes in and he plays like this. Jesus, the Rangers have now a new trading asset. But which one? Do they trade Talbot or do they trade Lundqvist? No need to worry about it right now. They got a 3-1 series lead back in Madison Square Garden. Not since '94. And Rick Nash gets his first shot on the net. It's a goal. Rick Nash, 4 goals in the last 3 games. Nash is coming to play. He wants that cup, boys. First period. Oh, 1-0 lead for the Rangers. Will that be enough? Second period. Oh, tied up by Pomin P. Let's see. Third. I got to go real-time simulation now. It's getting down to it. Will the Rangers win the Stanley Cup? Will they take the Stanley Cup 1-1? Who's going to step up and be a hero? 5 minutes left. 2 minutes. Overtime. Who's going to be the hero? The Cup's in the building. Martin St. Louis. He does it. And the New York Rangers win the Stanley Cup. What a trade. Ryan Callahan traded away. And Martin St. Louis, the same place he scored that sweet snapshot on Dustin Tokarski. He does it again in overtime, but this time to win the Stanley Cup. Oh my God. Martin St. Louis and the New York Rangers, boys, by EA standards, are this year's Stanley Cup champions. Rick Nash, whew, Martin St. Louis, only his 3rd goal of the playoffs, but it's an overtime winner to win the cup, right? So he definitely got it done at the end there, and there you go. Yes, the New York Rangers are your Stanley Cup champions. So do we get any awards? Do we get to see the Conn Smythe for this? No, we don't. All right, player stats for the playoffs. Sure, we'll see who led the Rangers here. Points. All right, yeah, Rick Nash. Looks like this year he has a good playoff run, boys. Brassard, Zuccarello, Stepan, Hayes, Kreider, Martin, St. Louis. Let's see. Goaltenders. Yeah, Talbot started every single game, boys, and he went 16-6-0. Had very good stats. Henrik Lundqvist, who? You don't need him? Good God. All right, so there you go, boys. That is the simulation for this year's NHL playoffs. And again, EA Sports, they say that this year's champions are going to be the Rangers from New York. I don't know. That's not a bad bet. They're definitely a favorite this year. And I like that final. The Minnesota Wild versus the New York Rangers. It ended in 5, but still, the Rangers, I can agree with that. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the playoffs.